Thank you so much, sir. Let the people can join. Okay. So, guys, I hope we have received. Everybody got this, invitation, and now this is, I guess, the original one. Next time we won't get any sort of issue. Excuse me. Let the other people can join. Okay, then we can start. Sorry, today, everybody had faced a lot of issue, but yeah. So tomorrow onwards, you won't get this kind of issue. So don't worry about it. We can wait for another couple of minutes so that everybody can join. Still, we have very less strength so far. Guys, please join as soon as possible so that we can start. It's already 11, and then we can have 2 hours of break, and then we can start from 2 to 5. Yeah, it's enough. We can go on. Yeah, yeah. So I hope, guys, everybody would be able to understand the business operation process. Okay, which can be considered, could be considered. You can say. So this is what If somebody can come up with any of these case study, it's a pretty much good for them as well. Okay. Now let me move on to the some of the tasks which they have given. Okay, it's a kind of objective. There exactly what they are saying is we have to enhance the customer satisfaction index and to ensure customer stickiness to your organization, thereby maximizing revenue and optimizing cost. So it's always for you to make this kind of objective in your mind. Always means keep these things in your mind. You have to always maximize your revenue and optimize the cost. Okay, so that is what you have to do. Otherwise, you would always think like you how do you enhance the customer satisfaction index. Okay, and what would you do? You have to maximize your revenue and you have to optimize the cost. When I say maximize your revenue and optimize the cost, what does that mean is you have to just think about what all benefit you can provide to your organization and how do you make customer satisfaction? Okay, so that is one or two points which are very crucial for you. Okay, and that is not crucial for this case study. That is one of big crucial for your entire lifetime. So whenever you will get some project, when let's say you got placed in TCS, and there also you will get this kind of activity where you have to look, always try to maximize revenue, always try to optimize the cost. Okay, that is what you have to do. Okay, now what exactly it is saying, like, so your task is to create UI which would allow you to provide a structure or maybe unstructured input as the case may be to your solution, your AI solution. So maybe somebody can develop one UI, okay, in which you just browse some sort of a picture, some sort of audio, depends on you. But better to create one UI in which you can try to browse pictures, images, okay, or maybe somebody can develop UI in which they can accept the Excel, okay, they can browse the file called as .excel, and you can visualize that Excel, okay. So this one case study which everybody should have to do that. So just think in mind, like you have one page in which you give browse button, and that path from where you have to browse. Okay, when I will click on the browse button, then it will ask you to from where to browse, take some pictures, okay, store into the database, take some images, store into the database, or maybe show to the that UI. This kind of thing you can perform by your own. So how to do that? I will definitely do a session for that. What would you need to do that? Before that, definitely I will talk about uh, various ways to do that, so that if TCS guy will come up and they will ask what all different way to create UI, then at least you should be able to give the answers to them. There are different ways to create this UI. Okay, now you have to create some AI algorithm which would address your chosen use case and draw insight from the content. So guys, here few things you have to keep in mind. So I'll take one problem for customer segmentation. I'll take one problem which would give the acquisition analytics. Acquisition analytic, when I say that, means how would you arrive to some leads? Means like when I say how do you get some leads? Okay, so when I talk about this case study, that means like you are getting something, subscription from various places. Okay, so that is uh, so maybe three different case study which I have already told you, like I'm gonna cover here. You can say like this, how to a certain top of mind recall for customer through effective brand building, or maybe you can say like I will take one of the here AI based customer segmentation, which I will do that. Apart from that, I will definitely look into the customer retention and ensure lesser churn. So I will look into that churn case study as well. Okay, so 2-3 case study I'm gonna cover in my entire session, so that out of 14 students, at least 3-4 students can do one sort of a case study, 3-4 students can do other case study. Okay, and please, if I will talk about something, please don't copy each and everything. Will give you case study, or if you will look in my case study, I'm gonna cover the three different case study. I will show you the code as well. If you want, I can give you the code as well, but please don't make a copy, because my case study is well known, because I have submitted already into various places, and in GitHub also, my with my name, that case study is there. So it's always better do not and copy entire case study. Just look what exactly sir is teaching about, how exactly he has built this case study. Then based on that, you just get some idea at your end. Okay, sir has done this kind of a activity, he has used logistic regression, or maybe he has used classification technique. You use that, but try to develop your own case study, because see, somewhere they will caught you like you have copied from someone. Then definitely they are not gonna check your entire program. Okay, so it's always best practice to create your own. First of all, for maybe tomorrow, can say I would give you an assignment. Somebody can, or maybe everybody can try to come up with one UI. Okay, first process is to come up with normal UI. Create one UI which would take some input from customers, or which you take some pictures from the users. Okay, so it's simple. Come up with that, then slowly will on the now. Here it is saying, like, as I have already talked about, create the AI algorithm that will address your chosen use case and draw insights from the content. Okay, and then create a backend database or a content store if required for your case. Okay, now you have used some sort of a database. Okay, so it's always good practice if you will aware about backend and front end both. Okay, so what I would suggest you all, at least you should be able to respond to this. Try, somebody can create database. Maybe you can use a free version of what is that? Anyone can tell me some database name, or maybe anybody can just tell me about some of the software which you can use for creation of database. Microsoft SQL, everybody aware about it. What else? There's something which is free. Anyone? Just take a name of it. Anyone? No? No one is trying to give answers about that. So you guys are not aware about database. So guys, you have one entire subject. You are a final year student. You are appearing for an interview, and now I'm asking you to just provide me one database name, or maybe you can say like one software for where we can create database and all. Oracle, you guys are aware about or not? Okay, Oracle, you don't know. Then what do you know? Mm-hmm. Guys, it's a simple question. So if you are not aware about, then you are in a big trouble actually. Okay, somebody has pinged me. Good, that's really good. Okay, you are aware about Oracle. That is fine. What about other? Microsoft SQL one is there. One free version you don't know. You don't know. Guys, SQL Server you don't know. And free version you don't know, MySQL. Okay. Yeah. Thank you so much 442. whoever are, yeah, it's a MySQL. So try to install MySQL on your system, and try to build some sort of a database. Okay, create some database, create some table on that database, try to use it. It would be good if you would be able to use that, because if you will use that, TCS people will ask you some questions. Okay, but see, at least I am also expecting you to create your own UI, create one database, one at least tables in your database. Okay, so these few things which you need to do by your own. So maybe the AI ML thing I am gonna cover, but at least you should come up with anyway. So don't worry, I am also gonna cover this UI part, where I will tell what exactly you need to use. Okay, maybe in afternoon session I'm gonna cover that, but you have to know about this. Okay, so out of 14 students, how many of you have installed Python? Just say yes, no, yes, no. What I'm asking is, out of all, okay, okay, I got 3 responses, no. So 17442 is saying no. What about others? No. So I can see like there are few students who are saying no. Those who are saying no, then at least they can install on your system. So if you want, I can just show you. Okay, how many of you think about where they are going to build this entire project? Any guess? Any idea? No idea? Okay, that's really a good news. I'm not expecting this from you all. Anyway, the last point is create an outcome UI that would showcase the result from your AI algorithm. Data visualization analytic can be also shown in the UI. Okay. Now, few points which you need to consider here. So students may consider one or multiple related process mentioned above for development process for their application. Students should also okay. Students should leverage the open source based machine learning, deep learning, and associated libraries and technology. I will tell you what exactly it is talking about. Okay, and students can leverage cloud AI ML APIs as well as to power the application for better dynamic responses. It is saying all code should be preferably Python based. However, UI and database could be any open source technology. That means you can develop UI in any technology. If somebody is good in Java, you can develop your own Java UI. If somebody is good in some other UI, then please do that, and database. But I would prefer To develop everything should be in Python. Database you can use MySQL. Okay, and then see AI ML everything I am gonna cover. Okay. Now, so it's a one of the representative example which they are trying to give examples actually. So example, some of the problem is like a statement that would potentially impact the overall customer experience, and this is only for the your reference. So student can choose any problem statement that they think relevant and it needed to be a part of this list. Okay. So few problems here which you can say: how to provide trend analysis for incident that include for past historical incident occurrence as well as predict the future occurrences. Okay. So even before entering into before looking into your problem, truly speaking, I have covered this as well. So how to provide trend analysis for incidents that include past historical incident occurrence as well as predict the future. So how do you know about what exactly my previous most of the time this incident occurs, or maybe you can say like there is a most frequent incident which is gonna happen in the past that is gonna happen in the future as well. Okay. Now, how might we use technology to generate product images or combination of product images based on the text description? So now, suppose you have written some text. Now, based on that text, how do you generate some images? Okay, suppose I am writing just computer or tablet, or maybe you can say like table. Then you have to generate some combination of images. Okay, or maybe table and chair, combination of that. So that kind of a technology you have to generate, or maybe that kind of application you have to come up with. Okay, how to correlate multiple problem occurring at any given time to accurately ascertain the root cause. Suppose you are getting one issue when you develop something, then again somebody has faced some other problem, and he or she has also found some problem. Okay, now you have to correlate these two different problems, and you have to go to the root cause of that. Okay, how do you do that? Suppose you might have encountered one problem when you have developed some application, and there may be SQL connectivity is getting failed. Okay, then some other group member, he has also developed something, and database name is not there. Then what was the issue? Root cause maybe your database creation has been failed, or maybe there is a connection issue between your SQL connection. Okay, are you getting my point? Okay, so that is how you have to reach out to root cause of each and every problem. Okay, now how to identify a string of printed alphanumerical characters from a photograph accurately? How do you do that? It's a very difficult actually. You have to identify a string of printed alphanumeric character from a photograph actually. So suppose you have a t-shirt where it was mentioned I hate something. Okay, now if it was mentioned I hate something, then you have to just get that string. Okay, from photograph you have to just identify the string of that is alphanumeric, or maybe you can say like normal characters. Now, how to provide end-to-end GPU-driven architecture for quicker learning and inference. How to provide remote, so GPU-driven architecture. When it is talking about, so I would suggest you do not go into that, because it's a another domain, you can say like dedicated domain. How to provide remote assistance to solve problem with faulty equipments. This requires some sort of a sensors. Okay. They are just trying to give some sort of example, so don't worry about it if you're not able to think much on it. Now, generating image description, what is happening inside an image. So you have to just give some sort of a text. Suppose I am gonna show you some Mickey Mouse image. He's playing with football, let's say. Then I show you that picture in which it is, I mean, it is trying to kick to the football. Now, by looking into that picture, you have to just automatically generate some sort of a text which was saying like Mickey Mouse is trying to kick. Okay, so that is that kind of a visualization which you need to do. How to expedite customer onboarding for insurance industry. How to do that? Anyone? Guys, we have looked into the case study use case a long back, and if I'm asking like how many of you have done that, you have said like, sir, we have already gone through the case study. Then why you would not be able to give that solution? Now, how to analyze sentiments from audio, video, text, image. That is one of the previously defined case. How to provide the best personalized offer to a customer. I have already discussed with this. How to summarize a video clipping as a text. How to summarize a text document. That is also a good problem. You have a long text written on a book. You have to just give a summary. How do you do that? Okay. So guys, basically these are your some of the problems which was listed there. You have to think about what exactly you have to build. You have to come up with that solution. Okay. And meanwhile, in the AI/ML part, I am gonna make you clear about what exactly we need to do. Okay. So few things which you need to just look into. The upcoming event or process which would be carried on from the next week onwards regarding InfraMind session 4 round 2. For each and every tower, there will be webinar session for the students for explaining about the problem statement, where the webinar link will be shared on via email or campus coming channel. Okay. So guys, by looking into this, what they are asking you, you have to tell the case study. What is your problem statement basically? So you have to describe that on a web means link which they are gonna tell. Now also for further more details regarding InfoMind session 4, student can visit the InfoMind session 4 and IT infrastructure success. Okay. And let's say here what it is saying is For further if students have any queries during webinar session, there will be assigned a mentor for that tower. You have to submit everything, or maybe you have to ask question into this forum. Yeah, so that is what I was talking about. As it is saying, malpractice will be strictly monitored for every and each and every solution document received. Any solution document found to be suspicious, copied or duplicate from another participant, the corresponding participant will be disqualified. Okay. So while uploading the prototype presentation video on YouTube, make sure the visibility of your video is set to unlisted. Okay. So now guys, we are good to move forward. Let me just talk about few things. So I hope everybody would be clear about which version of Python you have to use. If not, let me just share something. Yeah. So guys, we have to use Python 3 for the time being for this particular case study. And if somebody would ask why we need Python, you have to tell like Python is interpreted, Python is interactive, Python is object oriented, Python is beginner's language. Maybe a lot of things which you can tell. If somebody will ask what is the history of Python, you have to tell like Python was developed by Gudrun van Rossum in the late 80s and early 90s at the National Institute of Mathematics and Computer Science in Netherlands. Okay. And what is the story behind the name of the Python? Why Python? As I said, it's a support for integration, robust support for object-oriented programming and all. Python features, it's easy to learn, easy to read, easy to maintain. A broad standard library, interactive mode, portable, extendable database, GUI programming. Basic, I'm not gonna cover. Okay. I just wanted to show you some of the development environment where exactly you need to build your own code. Okay. So these are the IDs. I don't know how many of you are familiar. Anybody, can somebody name which ID you are gonna use? You guys must have some plan or not? If yes, which ID you are trying to use to develop your Python code? Anyone? Okay. And once you have developed everything and everything is correct, then you just move your entire code to the spider code, or maybe create some libraries, create some folder, something. Okay. Some sort of thing. Now, Apart from that, as I said, ID Jupyter is generally look like this files where all the files have been mentioning like this running and clusters. Okay, here file has been mentioned. Spider looks like this. Okay, the best thing about this is like you can develop, project name of and project name in the front, and then inside that project name all the Python files which is quite related to this. Okay, Anaconda Navigator, everybody would be aware about it. Jupyter Notebook is like here, and then Spider. So any of the two you can use here. PyDev with Eclipse, I don't know how many of you are familiar with this, but yeah, it's a one of the best, you can say, like ID. Now, before moving on, just I would like to tell you about program development lifecycle. Suppose you are going to build a program, what exactly thing keep in your mind? Okay, so in program development lifecycle, which is nothing but the PDLC, it's a systematic way of developing quality software which provides an organized plan for breaking down the tasks of a program development into a manageable, or maybe you can say like small chunks, and each of which must be successfully completed before moving on to the next phase. So basically, I would classify it as an analysis, design, and coding phase. Okay, so maybe you guys have something in your mind like how exactly we can. Why is Sarish teaching us about program development life cycle? Why he's giving this kind of a lecture? You know why? The reason behind this, because somebody will, suppose you have submitted your use case, they will ask you what exactly the life cycle approach you have used. At least should you would be able to give the answer for that. Okay. So here following some of the steps. First of all, you need to do what? Analyze the problem. The user must figure out the problem, then decide how to resolve the problem, choose the problem. Okay. Then design the program. A flow chart is important to use during the step of the PDLC. This is visual diagram of the flow chart containing the program. Okay. So this is what you need to look. Okay, guys. So first of all, you have to choose your case study where you have to just document something which is named as requirement. Then you have to design the program. Okay. Then you have to write the code. And I will have each and every one student, please, whenever you do something, or when you have written your own code, please send it over mail, my mail ID. I will try to look into it. Okay. If the if time permits, I will definitely try to correct that. Okay. Otherwise, I would check at least. Now then we have to develop, we have to debug the program by our own. Then we have to formalize the solution. You have to document and maintain the program. Okay. So these are all stuffs or maybe you can say steps basically we should maintain at our end, because when you are going to give presentation they will ask about this. Okay. So generally in our process what exactly we do is we follow waterfall development model. Okay, where we have product requirement document, which is nothing but the requirement. Then we have design, which is nothing but the software architecture. Then we have implementation, which we call it as in software. So first requirement, where product requirement document, you need to create that. Then design, where software architecture, maybe you can say like what is the program flow. Implementation, where exactly you have to write a code and all. Then verification and then maintenance. Okay. Now this is totally different from what we have, but if somebody would ask you what was the approach you have taken for program development lifecycle, then you must say like it's a waterfall development. Now let me move on to the so yeah. So let me just cover the UI part. Basically, some of module I'm talking about here. So you need to think of what exactly the module which you wanted to take. To take it as okay. Now graphical user interface. That's a GUI programming. What is graphical user interface? GUI, it is an interface that is drawn on the screen for the user. So how many of you are aware about this GUI? Can I get responses from your? I guess you guys are sleeping. Can somebody ping me about this? What is GUI? Great. Navya, thank you so much. At least somebody is quite aware about Kinter. So let me talk about this. GUI, it is an interface that is drawn on the screen for the user to interact with. And the common components are menu, main window, toolbar, button, label, text, and text entry. Python provide various options for developing graphical user interface. Some of them are listed below as Kinter is one of them, is the interface to the TK GUI toolkit. Okay, and then other is WX Python. Okay, which is being used by WX Windows, which is open source. Then JPython, it is a Python port for Java, which gives Python script seamless access to Java class library on a local system. Let me move on. So let me talk about Kinter first. Okay, because I guess it would be easier to develop things on Kinter. Okay, even I have developed long back. I do remember. Yeah, I have developed something. I have even written some code as well. Yeah. So you can either you can use it and either you can develop this. Okay. So how would you do that? Now, Kinter programming, it is a standard GUI library for Python. Python with Kinter provides a fast and easy way to create a GUI application, and it also provides a powerful object-oriented interface to the TK toolkit. Okay. Now, apart from this, some steps you can select. There are even I described it in a few steps to create a GUI application. You have to import the Kinter module first. Then you have to create the application main window. Then you have to add one or more widget to the GUI application. Enter the main event loop to take action each event triggered by the user. Now, here, how would you do that? Here, import Kinter. Here it is mentioned test equal to kinter.tk and test.main loop. The code will, make you this kind of a what? This is what? It's a one kind of a form. Okay. Now, Kinter widget common component, it provides various controls such as button, label, text boxes, which is being used in UI application. Okay. Now, button is used to display buttons in your application. Canvas, which is used to draw shapes in your application. Check button, which is used to display the number of options as a checkbox. Frame, it is a container widgets to organize other widgets. Okay. Label widget is used to provide single line caption for other widgets, and it can also contain images and many more things. Some of the common attributes are colors, size, fonts, anchors, relief style, dimension, and cursor. So these are the common attributes. Either you can use Kinter, either you can use WX Python, either you can use JPython. Okay. So these are the basically GUI. Sorry, common attribute which you can use in each and every different places. Now, geometry management, all Kinter widgets have access to a specific geometry method. It is being used to organize the widgets throughout the parent widget area. I will show you that as well, so don't worry about it. Okay. The geometry manager class, which is basically pack grid place. So in which pack, what it does, organize widgets in block before placing them in the parent widget grid. Organizes widget in a table-like structure in the parent widget. Place organizes widget by placing them in a specific position in a parent widget. So the person who is having Kinter right away can try this one. Navya, I guess you have this Kinter, as you said in the chat. Yeah, it's a Navya. Can you please try to this develop one button? Those who are trying to use, see, it's always better to use open source. Okay, so that you won't be dependent on anything else. or any other sort of application. Now, on the left side, I'm showing one sort of a button which is available as counting seconds. Okay. So what I have done here, I have just imported the Kinter as tk and then tk.tk. R.title I'm trying to give at counting seconds, and then we have given button where it is mentioning like it's a stop button. Okay. On the right side, you can see what exactly I have done here. I am trying to provide check button. Okay. So from Kinter import, we have given master equal to tk and variable one, which is nothing but the interval basically. And there I'm trying to give one but check button which is named as male. Okay. And then another check button which is named as female. Okay. So two check button I am trying to give to the user so that it can they can use the check button and they can select one of the button. Now, one of the application I am just trying to show you here. On the very left side, it was mentioned like it's a text editor, which is nothing but the entry. There you have to just mention the first name and last name. Okay, in that grid. Then we have a frame in which you have just given some red button, bottom frame, and then green button, and then blue button. These kind of a button you have given. Okay. Now, suppose you wanted to provide some menu, which is like actually you have in your requirement. You just give a menu where write like file and then new file open. Okay. And then try to create this menu box in which when you have a new file you try to able to do that. When you wanted to open some file from some location, you try to use that label as an open. Okay. And then we have help menu, which is nothing but the menu. Okay. Now in menu button, you can get here a lot of things. When I say a lot of things, what exactly these things we are getting? You are getting checkbox, check button basically, where you are going to say about contact and all. Okay. This was actually about Tinker, sorry, Kinter application. Now we can have a look into WX Python. It's also a GUI work by waiting for which user used to do something, or maybe you can say like event. Event happens when the user click type something while your application is in focus, when the user presses a button or any other widgets. Event loop, it waits for the event to happen and then act on these events based on the coding behind in your application. Event handler, when user need to hook up on each of the widget to event handle so that our application can do something. It's always, now it's my suggestion, try to use Kinter as much as possible. Okay. One of the dummy application which I have created using the WS Python is I'm just showing you here over there. Okay, we are just trying to name it as a wx.frame where parent is equal to none, and then title I am trying to give the hello WX Python. So here the same title I am getting in that. Okay, now in same dummy application, what I have done, wx.app, which is nothing but the wx Python application object, and it is required to run our GUI. Now in wx.app starts the event loop, which is named as main.loop, sorry, main loop dot main loop, and in wx frame, which is nothing but it is gonna create a window where we user need to interact with it. Now most of the wx Python code will require us to subclass the wx frame and then other widgets so that you can get the full control of your toolkit. Okay. Now here one of the dummy application which I am trying to show you here widgets, when I say wx Python toolkit has more than 100 widgets, and it allows to create rich application which will help you to figure it out widgets to use. And the wx panel widget need to be added first to make the background color actually of the frame to be right a shade of a gray. We require to use panel. Okay, so that is what I have used here, the panel text control, and in a button I have tried to use panel as well. Okay, yeah, you can see here I have used like this, where I am trying to enter some sort of a text on a you can say like text control panel. Okay, and then if I wanted, I have entered that, and then I have created one more button where exactly I have written submit. When you submit this, try to write some code on a backend. It will take the entire text which was written on a text box, and then it will try to enter into the database.
Class
Okay,
wifi on now.
hello. Now graphical user interface wx Python is the absolute positioning. When we provide exact coordinate of a widget position, that is absolute positioning. Sizer as a nothing but the dynamic sizing, where wx Python toolkit contains the functionality of a creating dynamic layout sizer. It will manage the placement of a widgets. Okay. So this is what I've showed you, how exactly you can make dynamic sizing and before the use of dynamic sizing. Earlier I was using this kind of submit button. So when I was trying to maximize my screen, it is still showing the smaller text control. When I will try to maximize on the left hand side, it was showing the proper appropriate, you can say like the size of my text control. Okay, so this is where actually we use dynamic sizing. And the code differences you can see here. Okay, it's the dummy one and dummy two basically. They are exactly what exactly you need to make a difference on dynamic sizing. So maybe in the second session we will have some UI code, which I will I will try to run this kind of a code in front of you so that you can get some idea how exactly we can create a label, how exactly we can create text control, how exactly we can create browse button or submit button. Okay, so we can have an again this entire thing in our hand, and I will try to explain you however how much I can. Okay, apart from that, one more thing I would like you you try to open Python, or maybe you try to open IDE in front of you in each and every laptop. Means whoever trying to attend my classes, at least you should try these things so that you can get something from my class right away. And then if you have to do something else apart from my class, then you try to Google and try to do that. Okay, but it's always good if you will sit along with your laptop, and then you can have some sort of a hands-on practice. Okay. Okay, guys, it's about 12, and hope you guys have got some sort of a background about your case study and what exactly we need to do for my, for your case study. So, yeah, we can meet around 2 o'clock. Okay, before about to leave this session, at least I should be able to ask you guys how was so far the class. I know it's a pretty much abstract manner, but yeah, I will go definitely in a depth. But I just wanted you to aware about it's not that much easy, this particular case study which has been given to you. But at least if you will cope up with me and you try to sync with me, definitely you would be able to solve this. And as I said, like, I'm going to cover 3 case study, all the 3 case study which was mentioned in your objective, or maybe you can say like your assignment. But you have to cope up with me, and you have to sit along with me to do some sort of a coding. Okay. Okay, so guys, thank you so much. Again, we will be using the same link. Okay, if you want, I can share with each and everyone. Okay. I guess everybody got on on WhatsApp this link and all. Okay. So guys, if you have any question, please post after the lunch. Okay. So we can resume our classes around 2 o'clock. Okay. Please come back so we can have some hands-on session. Okay. Thank you guys. Thank you so much for listening to me. Okay. Bye. Yeah. Bye bye.